Today on a Nerdynomicon news brief, we're going to be talking video games, man, because E3 just happened all over our face, necks, and collective chess. So we're talking about it, and I've got David Duncan from Synthaholics to break it down beat by beat for us. That's next for you right here on the Nerdynomicon. Welcome to the Nerdynomicon. I'm Robbie, and with me today is...
David Duncan.
That is correct. He is from Synthaholics, and he, like myself, like Adrian, he's a hardcore gamer. Adrian's not with us tonight. He's going to be with us on our usual Friday episode. He's not with us tonight because he's dope. His life's dope, and he does dope shit. As a matter of fact, tonight, I'm pretty sure he's got band practice. So, yeah, gotcha. Adrian's in a band now.
Band?
Yes.
Tearing up them electric drum guitars.
In my head, he's playing keytar. I know that he's on the keyboard in this band, but in my head, he's rocking the keytar because he's got the long locks, and I'm just picturing him headbanging, 80s style.
I'm pretty sure almost everyone in Dream Theater's got long hair, even their piano guy.
Yes, exactly. But enough of this tomfoolery. We'll talk about Adrian's keytaring on another episode. E3 just happened to us, man. All over our faces, necks, and collective chests. Talk to me. What was discussed? I haven't had a chance to keep up with the coverage. I've seen a few things, but I've been deep into working on Couldn't Be Models and working on a couple of scripts for the other shows this weekend.
I've been watching a lot of E3 as much as I can between working and whatnot this weekend.
Right.
It started off with EA, and EA did their thing, and nothing was super. Crazy from EA. They had a new Need for Speed. I'm like, yeah, that's like another Madden for them.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I played them, but I'm not too into sports games overall. I mean, to each their own. I mean, I see the value in sports games. I'm just not a huge fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not really either.
I like the games with stories.
Star Wars Battlefront is going in the story mode, and supposedly all the DLC is going to be free. So, they're not charging they're not going to charge another game's worth for the DLC, which is, I didn't even buy the first Battlefront that was on the next gen systems because they announced they were putting out DLC that costs as much as the game. And I'm like, nope, I'm not even going to attempt. And it was online only, the first one.
Yeah, it was. Now, I did buy the first Battlefront. I love the first Battlefront. I mean, it's my type of Call of Duty game. You know what I mean? It's Call of Duty set in the Star Wars universe. That is my type of game. But I see the drawbacks. I see everybody's qualms and problems with it, and I'm never going to begrudge them that. Yes, the DLC was way overpriced. Yes, the fact that you had to play online had a lot of downside to it. And I'm also a trophy hunter as far as PlayStation games go, so it kind of pissed me off in that respect, that more trophies kept on getting added on, and I'm like, well, my completion rating is just dropping significantly on this.
Oh,
so it pissed me off.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that information about Battlefront, that is fucking badass. I'm so happy for that.
Even though they say, the seasons are going to be free, I'm just wondering what they're going to charge for, because it's EA. They always charge extra. They always charge extra for something, but as long as the maps are all free, I think that'll be fine, because then you can at least still always play with your friends, because that's the problem with DLC map packs, is as soon as your friends don't have the same map packs, you're not playing with your friends anymore.
Yep.
So that's really disappointing that the first one worked out that way. The news for the new one, it's really exciting, because I'm just like, oh, that's cool.
And story mode too.
Yeah, story mode, and that's supposed to bridge the gap.
That's going to be the big thing. That's going to be the big thing right there.
And it's from the Imperial perspective, which is one of the reasons I fell in love with video games, like TIE Fighter.
I know.
Playing the game from the Imperial perspective has always been a huge thing of mine, because the Rebels are just terrorists. They're the bad guys. They're the bad guys. Obi-Wan Kenobi. I loved so much about Rogue One was you got to see the fanatical side of the rebellion. I absolutely loved that aspect of it. So it's going to be so cool to play as the Empire, especially in the days and times that we're living in right now with all the radicalization. It's going to be really cool to play it from that perspective. Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to. That's about the biggest thing from EA that they showed off. They did show they did a teaser for the new BioWare game Anthem. Which the teaser looked like it was a bit of Evolve mixed with a bit of Titanfall mixed with a bit of Destiny, and I'm not sold on it yet, especially after the debacle that happened with Mass Effect Andromeda, 5 years of development time, and only 18 months actually put into the game for the final product. All the other time essentially was completely wasted. So I'm kind of on the fence about BioWare now. I need to see and feel this game in my hands before I can really... And I feel like they're also just trying to jump on that Destiny game, because it's going to be like a co-op open world game, kind of like Destiny is.
Right.
Then we had the Microsoft conference, which they unveiled a Porsche. For all the people who love video games, they showed off a new car. So there was that. There was a world premiere of a car. Yay, a car. That's going to be in their Forza game. And then they also showed the Xbox Scorpio at $499. And they showed a bunch of games, but nothing really stood out, like, at all. Like, they had their whole big conference, and then they said, oh, look, we're going to do more backwards compatibility. We're bringing original Xbox One games to Xbox One X. I think Scorpio was a better name.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Like, and the thing is, the other Xbox is Xbox One S. I mean, like, it's so confusing, especially for, like, parents who are going to go buy these things. Oh, do they want an X or an S? Well, the S is cheaper, so I'm just going to get the S. You know what I mean? It's just, like...
Yeah, completely.
Terrible mark. Like, it's as bad as Wii U, almost. It's like, I don't know what this means.
Right.
Like, the parents aren't going to know what this means. And the grandparents are going to be like, I don't know. SX, you, not you. I mean, it's just so many dumb things that they're doing. I'm like, why? But I mean, otherwise, I don't think they shot themselves in the foot. They just didn't blow me away. Did you see anything from the conference for Microsoft?
No, I did not.
No.
I completely missed all of Microsoft stuff.
Yeah. That's just my take on it. I didn't see anything too valuable. I was really hoping that the Sony conference, since the PS4 Pro is $100 less already than the Xbox One, I was hoping that they drop the price again just to kind of jab it to Microsoft, because Sony almost always does something to kind of like jab Microsoft in the gut, and they didn't do it this year. But actually, before we get into Sony, Bethesda had their conference the same day.
Yes, and
this is the one I was most excited for. Because
we touched a little bit on this because you're the one that kind of broke the news about a video game that sounded very, very cool to me. We talked about it in our last episode on Nerdynomicon last Friday. So I was kind of excited to see what happened with this.
Well, I mean, Starfield is a property, is a trademark that Bethesda's registered, and they recently had to re-register, I guess, because the trademark was about to die on it, so they had to re-register it.
The trademark expired.
Yeah, so people were saying that it was probably going to be announced. And it was, the rumor, I mean, this is all like, crazy speculation. Like there was like a 4chan article, something that was leaked that said, oh, I'm inside Bethesda. I know what they're doing. There's this, they had this whole big lineup for what it was supposed to be. And then nothing came out about it at all. So that was massively disappointing. It was also super short. It was like under an hour. And the two new big games are going to be Evil Within 2, which
I'm down for.
I never played the first one.
So down for Evil Within 2 has got me so excited. That was a game that I even bought the DLC for, because I don't buy a whole lot of DLC. I buy them for almost all of the From Software games, and then once they re-release the games, I re-buy them just in case there's extra trophy packs.
Mm-hmm. And there almost always is.
And there almost always is. Well, not from Software. The only time there was ever extra trophies was for Bloodborne. But the Evil Within, I thought, was a very good, very smart game. It wasn't as scary as I hoped it would be, but it did have some scary moments to it. Mm-hmm. But the DLC was really good. Like, specifically when you played as the Executioner with the box helmet, it was very, very, very good. And I'm very excited to see what they do with the sequel. I really hope that they up it. And video games is a medium that's not a whole lot like movies, where lots of times the sequels, or as they go on, the sequels 2, 3, sometimes even 4, that's where they hit their stride. Resident Evil 4, Metal Gear 3, Silent Hill 2. Those games are far superior to the ones previously. So I'm really excited to see what they end up doing with the Evil Within 2.
Well, sure, especially with Resident Evil 4, where they locked you into a third-person perspective, so up being always forward made sense, unlike the other games in the series, which were insufferable for me to play. I could not do it. Like,
I completely understand that. I really do.
And, like, you couldn't break glass.
I still love them, but...
You couldn't break glass with a rocket launcher in Resident Evil Code Veronica. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Half-Life. I'm breaking glass in Half-Life on the PC, but on my Dreamcast, I can't break glass in Code Veronica. And up is always forward, even if you're facing down.
Truth.
Oh, hated the shitty gameplay mechanics in Resident Evil. Could not stand it. Like, until 4 and 5, and then it's like, oh, it's locked third person. Up is always forward. This makes sense. The controls work now.
Exactly. So, long story short, like I need to at this point, Evil Within 2, massive amount of hype. Very excited about this.
It looks super trippy. Like, I don't know anything about it, but like it was like super trippy. He kept like seeing his daughter burned to death in different ways. I'm like,
yes,
that's interesting. And then the game I wasn't expecting. I mean, I was expecting a new Wolfenstein game. I was actually expecting it to be an expansion because spoilers, you die at the end of the first Wolfenstein game, where it makes it look like you do. And the new game, you're still BJ Blazkowicz, and then now it's Nazis in America, which might have some interesting political commentary via our president and his cabinet.
Yeah, it seems rather topical, doesn't it?
Strangely so.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to...
We don't usually get political on Nerdynomicon, but everybody knows where we at the Artful Gremlin stand on everything, so we're going to drop that nugget there, let it marinate, and we're going to walk away from it. But you know where we stand.
Yeah, but I mean, just as far as like the game, it's taking place in America. It looks like New Orleans.
Exactly.
During some of the shots, I saw New Orleans on the signs.
Right.
And
I saw that too.
And Nazis, and like that's interesting. I mean, it seems like it'll be a fun game, but I mean, like the first one was a lot of fun. I wasn't like dying for it. The reason I pre-ordered and got the first one because it had a Doom like beta guarantee. For pre-ordering it, which is why I did. And I was pleasantly surprised it was a good game, but I'm not dying for this. What I'm dying for is a new RPG from Bethesda, and they did not deliver.
They didn't deliver. Yeah.
And it was super short. But the interesting thing so far, like all the conferences that I got to watch live, they've been more about the games. Like less talking and more about the games. Which is kind of how Sony did it last year, where they did minimal amount of talking, where they did game after game after game after game.
Right. Last year Sony they blew the house down.
Well, last year Sony had that giant orchestra, and they played like live music over like most of the trailers. It was absolutely stunning. This year Sony did not do the full orchestra. They had like a Middle Eastern quartet.
Yep.
So this was to introduce the new Uncharted game. Can't remember what it's called. But it's not featuring Nathan Drake. It's featuring the girl or some girl from the series. I don't know. It looks.
I trust
pretty.
you on that. I'm not a huge fan of the Uncharted series, mostly because I haven't played them. Maybe I need to rectify that because I know a lot of people love them.
Uncharted Lost
Sorry
Legacy.
About that, guys. I just haven't played them.
I played the original trilogy. I loved them. I just fell off on PlayStation 4. I never played the PS4 one. And then there's a Lost Legacy where it's
Yep.
The girl's the main character instead of Nathan. So Uncharted, so it's the same world, just different people you're playing as. Then you get to see Horizon Zero Dawn getting an expansion called The Frozen Wilds, which looks pretty cool.
Fuck yes.
I just started playing.
Horizon Zero Dawn is so good.
I just started playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and it is so good.
Now, there are some gameplay mechanics that kind of bug me a little bit, but at the same time, with most games, there's always that one or two things where I'm like,
what bugs you about Horizon Zero Dawn?
Specifically, what bugs me is the hiding mechanic.
Oh, it only works in that certain type of grass?
That's exactly right. That is exactly right.
Well, speaking of that mechanic,
in other areas where you should be able to hide, I'm like, I can't hide here. I have to be in this grass, but this makes no sense. You are a retard, you giant, stupid, robotic, dinosaur-looking thing. But gameplay-wise, story-wise, this game is fucking badass. If you have not played Horizon Zero Dawn, what are you doing with yourselves, man? Play this game. It's really good.
I just started it since I beat Mass Effect Andromeda, and it is fantastic so far.
Yes. It's going to get better. that game gets better the deeper in you go.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm still in the first area. I haven't gotten to my first tower yet, so I'm still like pretty much at the beginning. But it's awesome.
If
from the little bit I played.
you love it that much already, you haven't even earned the right to call it awesome yet, because it's good at that point. And if you love it now, you're going to cream over it later. So
Yeah.
I'm so excited to keep talking with you and see how much you like it going forward.
Oh yeah, and the expansion looks really great too. Like the armor
Yeah, it
gets
does.
even crazier looking. Because at the beginning, I only got my second set of armor, and I'm like, oh well, it's looks like my first set of armor.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to see how that unfolds.
I didn't get a chance to really keep up with E3 like I do in other years. So before we sat down to talk about this, I just kind of scrolled through to see some of the highlights on my end. I'm like, what do I care about? Meh, meh, meh. Oh, meh, meh, meh. Ooh. So Horizon Zero Dawn, that was one of them that popped right out to me. Evil Within 2 was as well. There's a couple other ones that I know we're going to be getting to here as well.
Yeah, like I was surprised that I saw that it was the second thing you saw from Sony, that the Guerrilla Game logo came up. I'm like, really? I couldn't believe they're already having something else out. But I guess since it's an expansion, it's not really that big a deal since it's just an expansion, not a whole new game yet.
Fair enough. But one thing that I definitely want to bring up, I'm just going to jump right into it, is I was overjoyed to see that PS4 is finally getting a version of Undertale, because I've wanted to play this game so much, but I'm just not big on playing games on my computer. I realize that may upset and concern a lot of people, but I've always been a console type of guy. You know, I like to follow more where the games that I'm interested in are, but I just don't do a lot of gaming on my computer. I used to for a while, but I'm just more of a console guy. Undertale coming over to the PS4 has got me so fucking hyped, because there's been a lot of speculation online that it'll never happen just because of the way it was coded. Mm-hmm. I'm glad to see that is not the case, and it's finally coming over. Yeah, I'm overjoyed.
That's what I've never played. I am a PC gamer as well as console, but I just never got around to playing that one.
By all accounts, I've not heard a single negative thing about Undertale.
Well,
not
good.
One. In all the time it's been out, and I've heard a lot of people talk about it, I've kind of sat in on conversations at PAX where people are talking and gushing about Undertale. I've never heard one negative thing about that game. So I'm so excited to download it on PS4 and play the shit out of it.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, let me know how it is when you get to play it.
For sure, man. For sure.
You were saying you didn't like that hiding in the grass mechanic. I saw that in at least 2 other games at the Sony conference. There was Monster Hunter Worlds, where it looks like that was a mechanic they were showing off in that game. Because there was like a bunch of smaller dinosaurs that he got in the grass, and they all kind of ran around him, and then he was looking for the big dinosaur that he was trying to kill. And then at the very end, he pulls out this like cool little like machine that turns out into it's like a fire and a spit, and then he just starts roasting some dinosaur. It was like, that was kind of cool.
And here's the thing about Monster Hunter. Most of the ones that I really want to play are not on the consoles that I own here in America. They only seem to have foreign releases for the versions of the game that I want to play, which is so damn disappointing. But Monster Hunter is a fun series, so I'm excited for that, but
and this one
the tall grass mechanic pisses me off. Yeah, it looks gorgeous, I agree.
But yeah, it looked like they had that tall grass mechanic, because I'm like, oh, that's an Horizon Zero Dawn thing. And then I think it was in the Days Gone too. I think I want to say, yeah, it was in the Days Gone.
Yeah,
hiding in the grass.
It was in there. Days Gone looked interesting. I don't know what to make of it yet, but it does look interesting.
It almost looks, the first couple of times I saw a trailer for it, I wasn't crazy about. This one got my attention a little bit more, but it almost looks like too good to be true. Like, because they showed like the guy gets stuck in a bear. You move a bear trap and you throw a rock over to it, and like the guy steps in it, and all his friends go check him out. Like the artificial intelligence is looking like almost too good to be true, where they're checking things out. And then there's this another part where you see your friend is a hostage up on like a treehouse type thing. There's some other bunch of guys standing around, but you just came through an area with zombies. So the guy blows up the wall, and all the zombies run through. And the zombies in this game, they're like a flood. It's not like just like, a handful of zombies. It's like a wave of zombies, like so many zombies, and they chase all the people away. And then the guy climbs up, and there's like an event. It's just the way the artificial intelligence looks like it works in this game. It almost looks like it's too good to be true. So that's what's got me kind of worried about it. It was like, is it going to work that way in the game? You know what I mean?
Makes sense, yeah.
Because artificial intelligence is always a wonky thing in games. Because a lot of times they're just plain stupid, and this is almost like kind of cool if it works the way they show it is.
Right. Yeah, AI in games, it goes back and forth. I've seen it done well most of the time, not so much.
Half-Life 1 was still some of the best artificial intelligence I've seen in games.
Yeah.
And then it never seemed to be as good as that again. And I'm just kind of like,
right.
I mean, Half-Life 2 had good AI too, but it seems like a Valve thing.
What else as far as highlights do you have for us?
God of War looked really good, but I mean, again, it's something we already knew that was coming.
They've been talking about it for a while.
That looks spectacular. And then I think the Detroit game looks really cool. Like they showed a totally different scenario from the last time they showed the Detroit trailer. It's not like the hostage negotiation. It's like they're trying to break out the other robots because you're playing as a robot and you're trying to liberate the other robots and not be viewed as property, but be viewed as actual people, as actual life. It's actually kind of funny. Me and Aaron have been talking about holograms gone wild on Star Trek for the last 2 weeks. And so this kind of looks like it's devolving into the same type of thing, or what is life? Which is kind of an interesting question. But again...
It's definitely a cool topic, and I've seen that done so many ways, and it's one of my favorite themes that I've seen in both games and television. So, I mean, that definitely has me sparked. God of War, we've known about it for a while, and I guess it's the overused intellectual property that I like the most, but it looks cool. I'm not necessarily sure we need more God of War at this point, but at least it's not another Assassin's Creed.
At least it's not. I mean, Assassin's Creed's a yearly thing. God of War, you get one every like 3 or so years.
Right.
So I mean, it's not as overused as Madden or Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed.
Speaking of which, they revealed the next Assassin's Creed.
Woo!
Assassin's Creed Origins, which I will be honest, actually looks like the best one since Assassin's Creed.
Are you going to drop $800 in that special edition?
Fuck no. Absolutely not.
I could get a Switch and a PlayStation 4 for that cost. Why would you spend $800? That's like the dumbest stuff.
Precisely. No, I'm not going to be doing that at all.
I'm not. The only thing I really liked about Assassin's Creed was the multiplayer. I just wish they'd make the multiplayer as its own thing, because I like the hide and seek mechanic of the multiplayer.
Yeah, that was definitely a highlight of it. I like the story in 2. I liked Ezio, so that I was down with. Everything from Black Flag forward, I just was not feeling. I tried it, I didn't care for it. So, I mean, it's a cool idea. It's a novel idea, but I feel like at this point it's a little bit overplayed. I think that they need to step away from Assassin's Creed for a little while, let the nostalgia set in, and then start bringing some stuff back.
I would say that too, because I mean, they put out one I think almost every single year, and I'm like, do people still care? I've only played
the numbers. I think it's pretty obvious people do still care, but maybe they just buy it out of force of habit.
I guess I was like Call of Duty. I'm just like I don't buy those. And I played. I don't even think I played Assassin's Creed 3. I think the last one I played was like one of the spin-offs of 2, and I hated playing the future. The present time. Where you're an inept guy who can't do any of the things that you could do before, and you have to do like platforming as a guy who can't do anything. And I'm like, this is not fun. Like, the fun part's running around and doing all this crazy acrobatics. And then you have to play a guy who can't do any acrobatics. I mean, come on, can't this just be story part, and then we go back for the action part, for the actual good gameplay?
Agreed.
Like,
completely agreed on that.
I don't know. Assassin's Creed just needs to die. They need to be assassinated.
Let's see, what else am I liking here? Oh, one thing that I want to bring up for sure, remake of Shadow of the Colossus.
That looked really impressive. Like, super impressive. Like, there's like freaking fur on the back of some of those things, and it looks like a full real remake and not just like a HD.
A reskin. Yeah, like an HD version, which they've already done for the PS3. Now, I'm down for this. Here's what I wanted, though. I do want my remake of Shadow of the Colossus. I think it's one of the best games ever made. in my personal opinion, and I realize I am in the vast minority of this, I did like Ico better as far as the story. I would like a remake of Ico and an actual attempt at a PS4 version of The Last Guardian. Because The Last Guardian got a lot of hate. I think a lot of it going unnecessarily and unfairly, but I see a lot of people's point. It almost felt like a PS2 game made for the PS4. I feel like they should have put a lot more work into a game that was so highly anticipated and teased for so long. So that's what I would like for them to do. But you know what? If we only get one wish out of them, I'm happy it's Shadow. I'm happy it's Shadow of the Colossus. You know, that was a lot of people's bridge into subgenres like this and into, you know, that series as well.
You know, I think with this is that we might get that, or at least I can't see them redoing not Shadow of the Colossus. What's the third game?
The Last Guardian.
I can't see them redoing The Last Guardian. They just put that out.
Yeah, but they just made that game for the PS2 and then released it for the PS4. I mean, come on, mechanics wise, most of the
it was super clunky.
Environment. It really was. It really, really was. They could have done so much more. They have the ability. They have the technology. They could make it better, faster, stronger. But they didn't. Story-wise, it was still good. It was exactly the type of game I expected, but I expected them to up their game for the new gen consoles. And I didn't get that, and I felt let down in that respect. You know, it was a game that I'm glad that I borrowed instead of bought, and I will buy it. I will give them my money, but it's not a game I would ever recommend dropping the original $60 price on. Get that game when it drops in price.
I mean, that game, it was in development for as long or longer than Duke Nukem Forever. So, I mean, yeah, that's never a good sign.
No, it's not.
It's never a good sign when a game's in development hell for 10 years.
No, it's never a good sign. But at the same time, if you're going to be stuck in development hell for 10 years,
and it comes out
something
exactly
in those 10 years.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
At least we got it, but you had a decade, and this is what you give us. That was what was disappointing. The game itself was not disappointing. I thought that the game was quite brilliant. I loved the Chimera creature that we got to ride around on. I loved it. It was the environments more than anything, and the gameplay itself. It felt, as I said, like a PS2 game.
It felt old.
Yes, it did. It felt dated by the first day that I put it in my console. It felt dated.
Oh, that's a shame.
To me, it was insulting putting it in that way. But please don't take all the negatives that I'm saying right here as an indictment on that game, because I even said that it got unnecessary hate. It sounds like I'm giving it that. It's still a very, very good game. It's not worth the $60 price, but it is a very, very good game. I would like for them to put more effort into it. You have it released. You've got your built-in fan base.
They can tweak it.
Love it already. You can do better now. Obviously, you can do better. Look at fucking Shadow of the Colossus. It's obvious you can do better.
What I'm thinking is if Shadow of the Colossus remake sells really good, then maybe they'll do Ico, and then maybe they'll do...
God, I would love that.
The other one. I keep... The Last Guardian. I keep forgetting because it just... I kept joking that it would never come out. Because I think it did even get pushed back one more... Even though they announced the release date at last year's E3, I think it still got pushed back one more time.
A couple of months, yeah.
It was just like... I laughed so hard when that game got pushed back again. I was like, this game's never coming out.
I call it Mighty Number 9 syndrome, where it just keeps on getting pushed back. 2 more months, 2 more months, 2 more months.
It's just like,
they do the Donald Trump thing. Oh, it's coming out in 2 weeks. 2 months later, nothing's been done.
It's going to be fabulous, right?
It's going to be huge. It's going to be unbelievable. Last Guardian's going to be unbelievable. God damn it.
That thing's going to be so bigly.
Fuck.
Well, there are Nazis in Wolfenstein in America, so I mean, it's that
right.
thing is happening to us.
That's right. That is true,
and it's happening this year. I mean, as much as I was disappointed, backtracking to Bethesda. As much as I was disappointed by Bethesda's lack of wow factor, everything they announced is coming out this year. So that's like really awesome. Sony's stuff, a lot of the stuff is coming out like 2018. I mean, I think some of the stuff was this year, but a lot of it, I think God of War, Spider-Man, they all had 2018 tags on them. And Spider-Man, oh my goodness, that looked amazing.
Yes, it did. That's another one that I had written down. That one visually looked amazing. I am probably not going to play that one because I've got such a backlog of games. I mean, hell, I've got the Nintendo with 450 games loaded onto it right now, and I got a while to go because it's my goal to at least play every one of those games. I'm not going to beat them all, but I'm going to beat the ones that I love. So I'm going back through with all the Zeldas. I'm not going to get to Spider-Man, but I'm glad they made it, and it looks spectacular.
Well, it's made by Insomniac, and I love the Ratchet and Clank games that Insomniac made, and this game looks
Ratchet
awesome.
And Clank is so much fun.
I hope it's open world. The trailer looked super cinematic, so it might be on rails, but at the same time, they showed this mini map with this big city, and it just seems like it'd be kind of weird if it was like totally on rails.
Right.
But also, there's lots of Spider-Man saving the people that he's beating up. Like, he doesn't let them fall off of things. So I don't know if that automatically happens or if that's something you have to do, otherwise you lose. Like, I can see things like that getting annoying if it is a lose condition. But,
yeah, I agree.
But if it's automatic, I mean, it might be kind of cool to have like some extra flourish. And it looked really cool. Like, it's got some slow-mo spider sense stuff going on. It looks like it'll be a lot of fun. Even if it's QuickTime events, and if they're done well, it might be a lot of fun. Because Uncharted does those QuickTime events too, when there's like, you know, some crazy action set piece happening.
Right.
So as long as there's some kind of open worldness happening along with the, you know, the crazy action set pieces, I think it'll be a nice balance between the two for a fun game.
Completely agreed on that. We're almost out of time here. We were trying to keep this a nice short episode for you guys, a cookie, if you will. So the last thing that I want to touch on is massive disappointments. Now, you already brought up how disappointed you were about Bethesda just because you expected Starfall, right? Or was it Skyfall?
Starfield.
Starfield. Skyfall's fucking James Bond.
James Bond.
Yeah, you were disappointed about that. Was there anything else that you were really disappointed about?
I really wanted to see Sony stick it to Microsoft with a like. I really think that would have put the icing on the cake and made Sony a clear winner. Saying, "Oh look, we're dropping the PS4 Pro by $50 or $100 just to further stick it to Microsoft." But Sony didn't have that, so I mean, I feel like they did have better games they showed, but I don't feel like they're the clear winner. We've got Nintendo tomorrow, although I think it's mostly going to feature Mario Odyssey. I'm not counting on any Pokemon stuff because the week before E3 they had the Pokemon Direct, which was super disappointing. It was like the biggest troll maneuver I've ever seen. Because they were like, oh look, we're gonna bring Pokemon to the Switch and it's Pokken Tournament, and I'm like, a game no one wanted or even asked for. It's like a port of the the Wii U game, which I guess I'm glad they're bringing over Wii U games because no one owned a Wii U, right. But for that, it was just disappointing. People wanted a real full Pokemon game on Switch, not a Pokemon Fighter where you get to play like 10 different Pokemon. It's lame.
Yeah.
And then they didn't even announce the 4th gen remakes or Pokemon Stars. It's Ultra Black and it's Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And that's just reeking of, Pokemon Black and White 2. And those I think were generally considered some of the least liked Pokemon games. I'm like, really? You're doing the Pokemon Black and White 2 thing to Pokemon Sun and Moon? Don't do that, please. It was like the ultimate troll. It's just like, oh, Pokemon
Agreed.
event, and everyone's like been reading the rumors about Pokemon Stars for the Switch, and then nothing, and then so all the Pokemon, it's just like troll, and then so you got Nintendo announcing that, so we're not going to probably have any new Pokemon news at E3. They might tell us a little bit more about Pokemon and a little bit more about Ultra Sun and Moon, but I can't see them doing anything new Pokemon since they had that whole event last week. So, right. Nintendo already kind of bummed me out. So, I mean, I'm excited for, Mario for Switch, but I mean, we already knew that's coming. So, I mean, unless, like, what I want to see for them to win is we need Virtual Console, and we need a Metroid game, and we need...
Yes!
Yeah, and we need a Smash Brothers. Like, if they can drop a Virtual Console, Smash, and Metroid for Switch, I think they could probably win E3.
As far as my disappointment goes, I was told that there were massive rumors coming out of From Software that they were going to announce something big. There's been a lot of speculation on Reddit as to what that could be. I was on the team of them bringing out almost like a collector's edition scenario of Demon Souls and the original Dark Souls, both of them redone for the PS4. Demon Souls giving us that final Archstone, the one that was broken, the one that was never people broke into. They found that they actually had the maps built, but they never put them in game. So that's what I was hoping for. That's what I was expecting.
The data mining?
Yeah, when the guys data mined, they found the maps. That map was created for that broken Archstone. It was obviously originally going to be in game, but for whatever reason they broke it, probably due to, development time constraints, whatever. Demon's Souls was still an incredible game, one of the best that was on the PS3. Next to Dark Souls, which there was speculation was going to be in a collector's edition right there with it.
I also saw speculation for a Bloodborne 2, and that didn't happen either.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. The other side of the rumor was speculation for Bloodborne 2, neither of which were revealed, which is so disappointing because I still remember E3 a couple of years ago, the fountain.
Yeah.
Just showing the Dark Souls fountain, and you got to see the black blood and everything just kind of coming right out of it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be incredible. And spoiler alert, yes, Dark Souls 3 was in fact incredible, and the DLC was indeed incredible. So From Software really disappointed me by not showing up to it.
Well, if they didn't have anything ready,
Kojima was not there. So
we knew we weren't getting anything from Death Stranding. Although I don't even know what Death Stranding is, and I'm not a huge fan of Kojima because I never really got into Metal Gear Solid. I don't like stealth games. I am the world's
biggest. I am a huge fan of Kojima. I love the Metal Gear games. Love them.
I don't like hiding in a box.
Well, I don't want to tell you what I do in my free time.
Oh, you hide in a...
I also love that mechanic actually spawned a rash of real-life robberies in Korea.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, people actually walked around in boxes stealing from stores, then ran out, ditched them as soon as they got off camera. That actually happened.
That's pretty funny. I mean, I've always tried to get into the games, but they just never clicked with me for whatever reason. I'm just not a fan of stealth.
That's understandable. Especially from 3 going forward, you don't even need to play them as stealth. You can play them as run and gun if you need to, or if you want to. Phantom Pain especially, you could do it that way. 3 feels truer. If you do it in stealth, it feels truer to the story. But again, you don't need to. I've played it and beaten it by only shooting people with tranquilizer darts, including the bosses. So I play them for the stories, and 3 is one of the best games of all time.
I've heard they're great, and they've got amazing cinematics.
They do. That's the problem with number 4, though, is that game is like 70% cinematics. So,
well, that's why they said it would never be on Xbox, because you'd have to switch discs every 5 minutes.
It's true.
Because it didn't have a Blu-ray player back in the day. That was pretty funny.
All right, guys, so that's it for you. That's our analysis. That's our breakdown of E3. We got Nintendo coming out tomorrow, at least from the time of recording this. So we'll talk more about that with Adrian when he's on. Hopefully David Duncan has been accurate in his assessment of what's going on with Nintendo, but you never know.
I mean, it's all predictions. Everything I've wanted to happen so far at E3 has not happened. So
that also does not necessarily mean that it was a bad E3. I was disappointed about a few things, but the things that I got were things that I didn't even know that I wanted, like Evil Within 2 or the remake of Shadow of the Colossus. I didn't know I wanted those until they happened to me. And now I want nothing else more than that.
I mean, they're definitely interesting, but I think the overwhelming consensus of this E3 is, as far as what I've seen, is like nothing new and amazing. It's like, here's the things we showed you before, and here's some more of them. Like, I haven't been, like, the Shadow of the Colossus and Beyond Good and Evil are probably the 2 things that were like, oh, wow, this is
right.
This is kind of new. So it's just we kind of know about everything, and I was just hoping for more surprises, I suppose. That's my issue with it. Just I wasn't as surprised as I was hoping I'd be. Although with internet leaks, I guess it's kind of hard.
You got to pay attention to those spoiler tags, bro.
Spoiler tags, but then the spoilers you want to hear about, and then they don't happen, and then
you never want to hear about the spoilers.
And then you're disappointed.
Just let the surprise happen to you.
I need spoilers to survive.
Yeah. All right, guys, if you've been enjoying this episode, please help us out, rate us and review us on iTunes. Every single one of those helps out more than you can even imagine. If you really like what we've been doing here, we've got a Patreon, because apparently paying for stuff that you get for free is a thing. And you know what? Every single dollar helps us keep the lights on. We love you guys. Exactly. We love you guys. We appreciate you. If you want to help us out monetarily, patreon.com/artfulgremlins. That's the name of the production studio. You get early access to these episodes, everything from Nerdynomicon. You're going to get early access to the YouTube stuff once Holly starts cranking those out, as well as all the early access to Couldn't Be Models, our sister show, which David's going to be on next week.
Woo!
So you can help us out by going to, once again, patreon.com/artfulgremlins. If you want to email us, nerdynomicon@gmail.com. You want to tweet at us at Nerdynomicon. It's all right there for you. You know how to find us. David, how do they find you?
They can find me on Twitter personally at David_J_Duncan. If they want to follow my show, Synthaholics, we're at Synthaholic Duo on Twitter. We have a webpage, synthaholics.com. You can find us on iTunes, Twitter, iHeartRadio, all the places you find your podcasts. We also have a Facebook group. It's facebook.com/group/Synthaholics if you want to join in the Star Trek nerdy fun.
Oh, yeah, we have a Facebook group, too.
You do, too.
Facebook.com/groups/Nerdynomicon. So you can find us there, too. And, yeah, these guys post their show on our page all the time, too. So if you guys are like, I could search for it, but I just don't want to, join the Facebook group page.
Yeah.
You'll see their shows right there. Click on them, man. If you like Star Trek even at all, you're going to love these guys. They're absolutely hysterical.
And even if you don't like Star Trek, but just want to hear some weird and quirky, listen to the show. We won't leave you blind. We break down what's happening in the episode we're talking about, so you kind of have an idea of what's happening, so that you're not completely lost. It's not just a bunch of psychobabble talking. It's like, look,
exactly.
This is the episode that we're talking about. This is what happens, and this is our discussion about it afterwards.
Right on, man. So, but that's going to take us out of it. We hope you guys enjoyed our breakdown of E3, and if you didn't, I'm sorry. I'm going to cry myself to sleep on my gigantic pillow.
E3 so far.
So until next time, I've been Robbie.
David.
Let's close the book.